Are you ready, kids?
Aye, aye, Captain!
I can't hear you!
Aye, aye, Captain!
Oh!
Welcome back to episode 75 of the Locker Room Podcast. I'm your host, Colin Davinsky. We got Ryan Rodriguez with us. We got Patrick Heffright with us. And we got another massive episode with another great guest. So as always, let's just jump right into it. He's the goaltender for the Hershey Bears in the AHL and the Washington Capitals organization, who had a great and even a phenomenal season last year. Please welcome Zach Fucale. Let's go.
Oh, clap. Nice, boys. Nice. Get a little clap to start it off. Thanks for having me on your show, fellas. How's everybody doing?
We're doing well. Doing well.
All talk at the same time. Nice.
That's the best way to start it off.
You know what? We're having a great day. I'm having a great day. I've napped half the day, so kind of woke up for this. Colin, Ryan, how are you guys?
I'm doing well. Worked out, did some baseball work, got back from the pool, just ate some Chipotle, having a great day. Colin, what about you?
It has pretty great day so far. I'm up in Massachusetts at a stop at goaltending camp at Merrimack, so having a good day today. And
Cool.
day's just getting better. So
How about you,
cool.
Zach? You feeling good? You having a good day?
Fantastic day, fellas. It was a nice day here in Montreal. Good training in the morning. Came home, walked the dog, hanging out with my family, my girl. Took some sun and did some work. So, no, it was a great day, man. Happy to be here.
Really love to see that. So, you know what? Let's just hop right into things. We got some hockey questions. We got some life questions. We got a whole boatload of stuff for you to answer and for us to talk about today. So, starting it off really quickly, how has the offseason been for you? After coming off a phenomenal season like that, you've got to be riding high, ready to get into the next one.
It's been going really well. Great summer so far. Like I said, I'm always outdoors, walking around with my dog, going in the forest, hanging around lakes with my family. It's been great. Bought a house with my girl, training hard, kind of ramping up the on ice part of the off season since we're almost 4 or 5 weeks before leaving. So 5-6 weeks before we leave. It's ramping up. Things are going really good. Body's feeling good. No injuries. Feeling good, man. It's been exciting. Like you said, it was a good season last year. So for me, it's just to keep my mindset in the right place, make sure I'm not complacent, and I keep setting the bar high so that I don't fall into some bad habits. So just keep focusing on my process, and that's it.
Gotcha. So what's a normal process like for you? Day in, day out, you hit the gym, you hit the weights. What are you thinking? What do you go through every day?
Well, it's every day will be a little bit different because right now I'm going on the ice 3 times a week. So on Tuesdays, it's like we do a 3-on-3 scrimmage with the pros. We have our league here that I kind of help run. So we're running some 3-on-3 on Tuesday nights. Thursdays will be more of I'm just joining into a skills practice for players. So for me, I'm just getting shots, different looks. And on Saturdays, right now is my goalie session where I'm going on with a buddy of mine that I trust, and he knows my system well. And that's how we get some good goalie reps in. And starting next week, we're even going to add another kind of intense 5-on-5 scrimmage, which is more realistic for like 3 full periods and stuff, all pros. So again, it's a little league that I've started with a few friends of mine that will be good for us, for everybody that's going to participate. It's going to be high tempo stuff. And that's it, man. Working out Monday through Friday. Same gym I've been working at for 12 years, here in Montreal. And the process is just repeating things that work for me, and sorry, the dogs are bugging me, but it's just repeating what works for me, and whatever doesn't work, you eliminate, and you just eliminate that. out of your life, out of your process, out of your system to stop pucks. That's the important part at the end of the year.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, whatever works, you keep doing that. So for me, I've identified in the last 2-3 years that I have 3 to 4 things that I just repeat, and the rest is just excess things that don't matter to me, and I just eliminate that, and all of a sudden you got a lot less mistakes on your hands.
Right, I got you. Now, another thing I like to talk about is, like, what's your favorite part of training? Like, I consider myself a masochist because I love going for runs. Like, I've been running a lot recently, getting really into shape for football and hockey and rugby. But what's your favorite part? You know, like, just like me running.
Training for me, I like a lot of different things about training in general, because being in the gym is great, not just because of like the actual drills and like how you feel after, because they don't always feel great. You know what I'm saying? But what I'm saying is it's when you're in there with the same group. Like, I've had the same training partners for 6, 7, 8 years. And that's great. You know, we all have a season. We all play in different parts, different leagues, different areas of the world. And then you come back to our hometown, our home kind of training facility, and you have that camaraderie, that team mentality that we have. We have the same 15, 16 guys that have been training together for the last 10 years or so, you know, give or take a few years.
Wow.
So that to me is one of my favorite parts. It's the group around it. It's a family-ish close gym we're at. That's what I like about it. You know, training is great. We know we're getting better and stuff,
Exactly.
but the people around it is what makes it fun. If you have a group that sucks, like, there's no training that will ever be great. Yeah. So you might as well spend time training in the times that it sucks with good people that encourage you, people that'll lift you, people that'll push you through whatever pain, adversity you go through. And that's what I like about it. That's basically what sports is in the end.
No, that is beautiful, because, you know, even earlier today when I was doing my training, like, my buddy and I were going back and forth on dumbbell rows, seeing who could push themselves more and more and more. So it's kind of like your buddy's there, you're pushing yourselves, you know.
Yeah. And you know, if you're by yourself trying to push the pace by yourself, you know, I always say this, you know, with Living Sisu, as a sports community we started here, we always say this, you go to the top of the mountain by yourself, and then what? You know? Okay, cool. You did the mountain, but the experience of doing it with somebody else that means something to you, that's the experience. That's what you're looking for. You're at the top of the mountain with somebody else to share it with. You know, if you're by yourself trying to push it at the gym, you're never going to enjoy the full labor of your work because you don't have anybody to share that stuff with. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I got you. That's a whole like team mentality, team camaraderie thing. Exactly. You love to see that. Now, let's move away from a little bit of training, move into more team camaraderie. You know, I'll hand this over to Colin and Ryan right after I kind of drop us into this. Like, with your team, was it different? How do I put this? So you have your teammates. Is it weird to see guys come and go, or do you have a frequency of guys coming and going? And what's that like?
It's interesting you say that, because I had a few years in the East Coast Hockey League, and there's a lot of come and go in that league, 100%. There's a lot of turnovers, and depending on where you're at in the standings and stuff, it could be really hard, you know, to see players that push really hard. They have a lot of pride for their job, and all of a sudden, you know, it's the reality of sports. There's cuts, there's trades, there's new signings, there's people being sent down, people getting called up, injuries. There's so many things that happen in pro sports in general. So yeah, it's definitely not easy to just see guys coming in and out, and you know, some dreams being fulfilled and some dreams being broken, and they have to be rebuilt. So no, it's a challenge, but at the end of the day, we can't just feel sad about that all the time, because it's part of sports. It's part of pro hockey. It's part of that whole business in general, man. Like when you have something that crushes you, that I've seen, it's happened to me. You know, like, I've been sent down after a high. I've been not signed, not re-signed, and changed club 4 or 5 times. I've been in 13 different teams in the last 5-6 years. Like, it's been hard for me as well. But at the same time, all those moments that sucked for me, which there has been a lot of dark times, that's where I had the chance to go to someplace new,
Mhm.
and start something new. And I've seen it happen to some of my teammates as well, where they've had some setbacks, some pretty major setbacks, either major injuries or something. But that's where they have the chance to rebuild themselves or rebuild a new dream within that. And it's, again, I come back to this. That's the whole journey we're looking for in sports. Like, it's very, very rare. We can probably count on a handful of times that guys have no heart issues. It's probably very, very rare. Like Sidney Crosby, you can say he's had it good. No, he hasn't. Like, he's had insane injuries in his career that we forget about. We forget the fact that, but that's how good he is that he made us forget of the fact that he almost missed 2 years because of injuries.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
McDavid, he was first overall everywhere he went and all that, and he won everywhere he's been. But hey, he's going through challenges right now, and he has had big injuries that set him back.
Right.
Everybody goes through adversity. So the camaraderie part, it's super hard to see guys, fall down and stuff, but it's the reality of sports. Time doesn't stop for anybody. So you keep going, you pick up whoever you can along the way, and you just keep pushing forward, man.
Yeah.
And you just keep helping somebody else around you. That's my mentality. I try to help others around me, kind of lift them to what they can do. And then you go from there. There's a lot of uncontrollables in sport. I know that's a long-winded answer there, but there's a lot of uncontrollables. And yes, it's hard sometimes to deal with ups and downs and come and go of players, but that's the reality of it. So you got to be able to roll with the punches.
Now, do you find yourself like, because dare I say, you would be in kind of that rebuild phase right now, because you said 13 years or 13 teams, 5 years, like you are rebuilding your mentality every day. You're like, I got to keep pushing. I got to keep pushing. I got to keep going.
Right.
Now, do you find yourself like making friends with the guys that are also rebuilding on your team and kind of forming a bond and like working together? Like you said, teamwork, camaraderie, and just like pushing each other every day?
It's a good question. I don't think that would correspond to what happens in a hockey locker room per se. At least not in my experience. It hasn't happened where I've identified somebody living the same thing as me and I just bonded over that. For me personally, as a goalie, I mean, I always have good relationships with my goalie partner. It hasn't happened to me yet. I hope it never happens that I have a bad relationship with my goalie partner, to be honest with you. But with the character that I am, I'm a loud guy. I usually come in with a smile in the start of the day. So I haven't had many issues with my teammates. Well, not that they told me, maybe I did, but hey. And but no, I feel like what you described hasn't happened to me, like word for word. But I do try and be the best teammate I can be, so that I bring something positive to the table, not just results wise, but also as a team player.
Wow. All right. Thank you.
So last year was your first year in Hershey, and it was a very unique year because you had to play in front of limited or no crowds this year. What was playing in front of either no one or limited crowds like, and did that make playing easier or did it make it harder?
You know what? That's a great question, because it was definitely a challenge. Like you don't really know how, like you can't plan for that. Like in the summertime we practice, and when we practice there's nobody there, but we all, like all of us, like we all play hockey, sports in general. All of us want to be in the triple overtime game 7 in the Stanley Cup Finals. Everybody wants to be in that situation, right, where the fans are roaring. And we watched the Euro World Cup this summer, and it was like just shouting, and it's just, there's energy right in there.
Yep.
So it was a challenge to get into the rink and try and hype yourself up or get yourself to a spot where you're feeling like there's a huge importance to the game. But that's a challenge, was you had to bring yourself to a place where you could perform for your team, whether there was 0 people in the stands or 5 people in the stands or 10,000 people in the stands. That's the challenge of pro sports, is that you got to deliver the goods no matter the circumstances around you, no matter if you slept well the night before, or if you had your favorite pregame meal, or you got on time and you got to tape your stick the way you wanted it. In pro sports, you got to be able to push through some bad circumstances sometimes. And this was 100% all year strange circumstances throughout the whole year. First of all, the schedule was not close to what we're used to. We're playing the same 3 teams over and over again. The buildings are empty. There's not as much energy. There's a taxi squad. Sometimes you're up and down and about. It was hard as hell. But at the end of the day, as pros, you have to be able to bring yourself to a place where you can perform. It's our responsibility. And I learned a lot about myself this year because, like you said, it was a real good year that we had in Hershey. And I feel like a lot of the players figured that out, that, hey, no matter who's in the stands, we're going to perform. We're going to be up to our standards, and you put the bar where you want it to be. It's not up to the crowd to put it for you. It's up to you.
So you said it was a great year in Hershey, and it was. Do you have a favorite moment from playing in Hershey?
I don't think I have a favorite moment. I just feel like it's just a great place to play. Like there's the fans, the people, and you can't say that about every AHL team. There's a lot of fans in Hershey. Like there's one of those places where everybody knows when you go on the road and play there, there's going to be people in the stands, and it's going to be full at the Giant Center. There's something about that place I absolutely love. I think it's great. I had a great first experience there, and with all the signings and stuff, free agency is just starting. But with all the guys that are coming back and the new additions, like I'm really excited about what's ahead for not just Hershey, but the Caps in general.
That's great. So my question is, when you first arrived in the pros, did you ever had a moment where you said to yourself, oh, this is professional hockey, or something like that?
You know what? It's I don't think yeah, I do have one moment, and I have it right in my head right now. So I'm pretty sure I won my first 4 games in the AHL. I might be wrong, and maybe I am, but I don't know. In my head, that's how it is. I'm pretty sure I won the first 3 or 4 games as a goalie with the Ice Caps, with the St. John's Ice Caps. And I remember feeling like, okay, like, man, this is going good. I got this, like I can do this, I'll at this rate, like I can play in the NHL, no problem. I was 20 years old, very naive and very confident, and not much adversity that I had been through at that point in my life. And I had won my first 3 or 4 games, and it went real well, and I thought I was great. And the very next game we play against Wilkes-Barre, and I got roasted in like the first 6-7 shots. They took me out. I scored 3 times, and that was it. That was my night. And then I sat down and I was like, oh, I guess I'm not that good, and that's fine, because in pro sports, it happens. Like when you think you're there, it will humble you very quickly. It will humble you very quickly to have that mindset change, like from you're the underdog to thinking you're great. The game will humble you very quickly. I learned that very quickly, and I'm happy I did, to be honest. I'm happy it happened to me. And it's happened to me time and time again where you change, you think you're there, you're almost there, and then all of a sudden the game humbles you again. And that's the beauty of pro sports, is that you can never really get too comfortable. And that was one of those moments, Ryan, where I said, oh, okay, this is the pros. I had one of those moments for sure.
Definitely. And then, so I got one more follow-up question. And I think, Colin, you can also maybe answer this question too. But as like a hockey goalie, when like you are coming off like a really bad game, or like not like a game that you can be proud of, how do you kind of bounce back from that game compared to a game where like you make every save or make pretty much every save you can?
Look, Ryan, it's a simple answer to that question. It always comes back to what's going on in your mind. This is where we talk about how the mental game will give you the edge on somebody else, because I'll tell you one thing that's not new. Look at any starter in the NHL, they've had a bad game, and they've had a terrible game. And look at every quarterback in the NFL, they've had a bad game, 100%. You look at any pitcher, they've had a terrible game. It happens to everybody, no matter how much money you have in the bank or how good you are or how much your goals against is, you're going to have a bad day. But when it happens, what happens in your mind that makes you snap back to yourself? Because it's not a physical thing. So if you look at it this way, if you get a shutout one game, okay, physically that means you can have a shutout, right? So what's the difference between you having a shutout and you giving up 8 goals? It's not physical, because you know you can do you can perform to the standard of a shutout. We just proved that. So it's a mental game. So if you get roasted one night, you have a bad night, it's what's in your mind that's going to bring you back to yourself, bring you back to your game, bring you back to that, to your standard. Okay, so it comes back to mindset. And that's the best athletes in the world, the Tom Brady's, the Carey Price, the Henrik Lundqvist. They don't last that long by just being good one time. They last that long by being good over and over and over, having a terrible game, and they coming right back to being at their top. It's in your mind that happens. It's your mindset, it's your perspective, it's how you prepare. It's your habits as well.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. I would phrase it as like a mental reset after I have like a bad game. If I let up like 8 goals, it's just kind of reset and just on to the next day and just try to be the best you can, because you can't really change anything in the past.
Right.
And
right.
so
no, that's true. That's true. Go ahead, please. I don't want to cut you off. Go ahead.
Oh no, go ahead. You're the guest, man. You got something?
No, but yeah. It's funny you say that. Like the mental reset, everybody needs to find that, and it's going to be different for somebody else. Like for me, it might be just going for a longer walk with my dog, like just that might be that for me. Or for somebody else, it might just be go home and have a cup of ice cream, a tub of ice cream, and you'll be fine. For somebody else, it's totally different. But you have to find that reset button for yourself. And it could be simple or it could be complicated, but you got to find it. And once you do, that will help you get back to your system. I love to talk about systemizing your game, because that just eliminates all the stupid mistakes we make, because you have rules that you abide to and you repeat over time. And that's what eliminates your mistakes in the long run. It's really systemizing how you play. So when you have a bad game, maybe you look at the video and say, oh, shit, I really wasn't abiding to my rules. Why was I doing that? That's not me. So what is you? Maybe there's 1, 2, 3, 4 things max that really is your bread and butter. And then by doing the bread and butter, you're right back to your game. So you got to find those 3, 4 things that you trust more than anything and just keep repeating those things.
Yeah, I remember during my freshman year, I used to play very emotional. So I'd go through these like epic highs and then just like epic lows, just kind of as it goes along. And then I remember my sophomore year, I kind of figured out that mental reset, and then it was a much better year. And also I think I went, me and Patrick went like 7-2. You went 9-2 and had a 1-8 and a 9-3-2. Did you change anything in your game or was it just finding that reset?
I don't think that it was just the reset that helped me. That's definitely a part of the game that's important, because when you do have a bad game, you need to bounce back. That's just what it is. If you want to be a starter anywhere, you have to be able to bounce back, because the guy that's the most consistent is the guy that's going to play. And that's it. That's just the name of the game, consistency. Yep. Because if you can deliver the goods on a regular basis, coaches like putting those guys in the net. So that's just the way it is. So 9-2 you were talking about. Okay, well this year, like I was telling you, I was just following my rules that I wrote down in my journal thousands of times, where it's just I'm repeating my system. For me, it's 3-4 things that I repeat, and I eliminate the rest. If I know by doing 3 to 4 things, I have at least 90% I saved 90% of the shots, then I can go get 1 or 1.5 or 2% by extra effort, or those nutso saves or something like that. They happen, but if I can guarantee myself with a system that I know works, I'm going to keep doing those things. If when they say don't fix what's not broken, or wait, what's the,
if it isn't broke, don't fix it.
That's the one. Okay. I'm French. Okay. Give me a break, guys. Give me a break. I'm French. So if it ain't broken, don't fix it. That's what it is.
Yep.
Okay. Well, I believe that, and if that works for you, it's going to be totally different for another goalie. If that works for you, why would you change that if it worked? Just continue to be consistent with that. And that's your system. That's what will build that confidence inside you, that consistency over time, game and game and game. And you have a bad game, perfect. Come back to the bread and butter. You know that's going to give you the results you're looking for. Find the system that works for you and perfect that shit.
Yeah. No, I got you right there. Like that's just what you have to do. You know, you cannot dwell on the past, you know, and a lesson that I learned from someone a long time ago is they taught me, and it was a golf lesson, but I equate it to other stuff in life. It's like
for sure
in golf, when you swing and you make contact with that ball, once it's off your club, you can't control it. Like you have control all the way until you make contact. And then it's just, you have no control, you know? And I kind of equate it's like, you can put all your effort into something and put everything in there. But once you set it in motion, it's kind of like most things are out of your control, and it's how you prepared and how you did. You know,
right.
And I kind of live like that. And it's like,
I like that a lot, actually.
Yeah.
I do. I really love that. And hey, sports, man, sports is a school. It's the school of life, man.
Yeah.
Like you learn everything through sports, and you just talked about a lesson you learned in golf. And I like that. I've never heard that, but God, I'm probably going to write that down after we're done. Like it's really good. And it's true because everything you do before you make contact is what's going to actually affect what you're going to have like your contact.
yeah.
So everything you do before that is what you control. And then the rest, well,
yeah,
whatever happens is going to happen, but at least you're going to have done the work. If you're systemizing, you say, hey, look, when I'm swinging the golf ball, this is what I do. Boom, boom, my hips this way, my arms, boom, boom. And if you know what you're doing, you repeat it.
Mm-hmm.
Is the contact going to be different every time? No, it's going to be the same every time. And you're going to minimize that fear or that area you don't control. You're going to minimize it as much as you possibly can, because there are some things that we can't control, and that's it. That's the reality. I really like that, Pat. Thanks for that.
Yeah, man, of course. You know, I'm full of good advice if you pick my brain for a little bit. You know, and okay, this is kind of like off the serious note. You have a system. I get that. Now, speaking of mental game, I've never asked Colin this question either, so you can chime in as well.
All
what
right.
goes through your head on a 2-on-1 or a breakaway? Like, I don't want this. Like, I want to hear what actually goes on, because I've heard a lot of different things from a lot of people that sounds like BS, but I want to know what
You
really
know what? It's nothing. There's really nothing that goes into my head other than me thinking of the word timing. That's it. And patience. For me, it's on a breakaway, it's two things. It's timing and patience. That's for me. And maybe Colin's answer would be totally different, but there is nothing going through my head other than timing and patience. And if I am patient, I know I like my odds. I really do. And that's just me as a goaltender talking, but I do like my odds if I'm patient against a breakaway. What about you, Colin? I'd like to hear your answer on this. What are you thinking?
So I'll answer the breakaway part first, because I have a goalie coach a long time ago told me that when you first see a breakaway kind of developing, the first thing you should do is not like try to, oh, I need to do this, I need to do this. It's just take a second, take a deep breath, and just kind of like you said, just be patient. You don't really have time to think during it.
Yeah, exactly.
You can't really think about anything. But the first thing I do always is I take a big deep breath and kind of just like eases the nerves of it, and then you just kind of go.
I like that.
Kind of go and do it.
I like that. But hey, Pat, like it's true. Like what he's saying is totally true. Like you don't have time.
Yeah.
You really don't have time to think anything really. So it's got to be automatic. For me, it's all about reading the body language, man. Like Colin will be doing the same thing on a 2-on-1. Like there's so many things can happen on a 2-on-1. There's a lot of options there. So all you have to do is rely on your instincts, rely on your visual cues, and just have good vision, man. You just look at what's going on and react to what's going on. But if you're patient, again, I like my odds.
So I always thought like, or whenever I see Colin, every time a 2-on-1 happens, I always think like he's saying in his head, oh, here we go again. We're about to get backdoored or something, you know.
No, that doesn't happen to me. I don't know about you, Colin, but
if I think, oh, it's gonna do this, then this, then this, then it's probably gonna go in, because you're thinking too much.
Hey, I like that you say that, because it's true. We're usually wrong if we're trying to guess. if we're trying to guess, we're usually
Guessing never works. It never works. It never has.
Well, I wouldn't say never there, Colin, but shooters at a pro level know how to read you as well. We're not the only ones trying to read off the players. The players know how to read the goalies now, so it's not a guessing game anymore. It's a lot of visual reads.
Do you try to conceal yourself when you're going through that motion? Because you said if you get red, like you're screwed. Like if a goalie goes over your shoulder, he knows you're cheating over, so he fakes a pass and goes inside. Like, do you try to conceal a little bit of your reads, or do you just go for it?
No, I don't conceal anything, and I honestly haven't thought about that. But like I was talking about systemizing something, like for me, there's every read has its action. And that gives you the best odds. And if I just abide to my rules per the situation, I'm going to give myself the best odds. And then it's just on executing my system. And if I go through those same rules I keep talking about since the beginning of this conversation, I like my odds. And it's just about repeating those things. So it's not about thinking. It's not about concealing my reads or whatnot. It's just applying my system and executing it the best way I can read with what's going on with my eyes. And that's it. And then I trust I'm going to make the save.
I think you could make a quote out of that: to not overthink. You get something going. Zach Fucale, don't think, just do.
I'm not the one that said that. I'm pretty sure somebody else said that before I did.
Let's do it.
If I ever quote you, I will say Zach said it, not anybody else. It was you.
Perfect. You can probably blame it on me. I'm a goalie. I can take that. It's all good. Well, I've been blamed for worse. Don't worry.
No, you're not blaming. It's a great quote. Come on. Like, I forget where I got the golf quote from, but I use it now. It's mine.
I like it.
You never know. So you keep talking about like routines and stuff like that. So how has your pre-game routine progressed over the years from even mite and bantam hockey to where you are now?
I mean, there was a lot of trial and error to get to where I'm at today. I've tried a lot. I tried at everything, from my nutrition to my how I tape my stick to how they build my pads. I've tried a lot of different things, and some of them didn't work, and a lot of it didn't work because my routine that I have now that I trust is very different from 6 years ago when I started playing pro hockey. And it's very different. And at that point, it was very different than when I was 16 and junior. Mm-hmm. So it's always been a progression. And I have this mindset that even if it's a little bit, you just try and improve it a little bit. But once I trust it and I believe in it, I'm going to challenge. Like, I'm very much going to challenge something new, adding something new to my system. Mm-hmm. If it's not proven, if I can't prove it's really going to prove results, like see results. If I can't know for sure it's going to give me better results, mm-hmm. I'm going to eliminate it. I won't do it. I won't touch that. I won't add it to my routine because I already trust my routine to give me a certain result. So why would I change that? Exactly. So before adding something new that somebody had presented to you in a nice shiny box and a nice pitch and a nice marketing ploy, like, hey, this is going to help you with your game so much more. Do this stretch or this. I'm going to question that stuff so much now. Why? Because I trust what I've built by my own trial and error.
Yeah.
Okay. So until I can prove myself that it's going to give me better results, I will not do it. I will eliminate it. And at a pro level, after a certain time, guys, maybe we're not in the same places in our careers, in our sports. That's totally fine. But
yeah,
once you've done all the trial and error and you trust what you trust and it's giving you the result you want, it's not always about what you do on the everyday. It's honestly what you don't do that will make a difference as well. Yep. You know, like not overdoing it is going to help you a lot more than doing more, mm-hmm. in my opinion. If you do more, if you work more, great. It's going to be great. But not doing stupid is also going to help you. In my opinion, it's going to help you more than. I don't know if what I just said made sense or not, but I hope that I might have got.
Yeah.
Okay, I hope I got my message across because not everything matters in a performance.
Yep.
What matters is what gives you results. And if it's two things, Merry Christmas. Do those two things. You know what I mean?
Yep, I got
the rest, eliminate it. It's all smoke and people trying to sell you something. Just eliminate it. Just eliminate the distractions and just do the two things or 3 or 4 or 5 things if you trust them that give you results. And that's it.
Now, I want to kind of throw this around because you've talked about how you've perfected your pregame routine, and I want to hear it. So we're gonna ask. We're gonna tell
It's not perfect, but go ahead.
But we're gonna tell so Colin, Rod, we're gonna go around. We're gonna tell you what our pregame routine is. You're gonna tell us what yours is, and then we're gonna figure out what we could do better. What do you think, or what we like? So, Colin,
it's really funny, okay? And just before I want to hear Colin, I want to hear you guys and what your routines are. But it's really funny. But I have a little goalie community that I talk to for younger goalies and their parents. We're in a little group, and I share a lot of my stuff. I share a lot of my process, and I try and help them out. They have access for questions and stuff. Colin, I'll have you join as well if you want.
Awesome.
And in the last week, I just did a live talk to the community on pregame preparation. And what I was saying was, here's mine, but it's funny, we're doing this exercise. But I said, here's mine, but I said, don't do mine. I said, figure out yours by asking yourself these questions. Yeah. And I had it. Geez, do I have it right here? I think I have it right here. There. So I'll do it. I'll do it right here. What did I do? Are you a more like a solitude and silence person, or are you a with everybody and a loud person? You have to ask yourself that.
Yep.
You know, and then you ask yourself, are you a loose and relaxed guy, or are you or girl, or are you like intense and like in like a zone, like not talkable type guy? It's fine either way. Like it works for somebody, but it might not work for you, you know? The next thing is, do you warm up like really hard? You need a huge sweat before going on the ice, or you just do a light warm up? Do you do your hand-eye? Does that work for you or not? Do you want to close your eyes and do meditation and visualization, or you're not? Just ask yourself questions, try it, and then based on the results you get, eliminate things that don't work. But I want to hear your guys' routine, but at the end of the day, how to create your routine is a lot of trial and error. And it's a lot of asking yourself questions. Hey, like, what am I? Am I an intense and loose guy? Am I you're just asking yourself questions. Okay, I'll stop talking. You guys tell me your routine. I want to hear it.
All right, let's hear it. Colin, you go first.
All right, so I couldn't agree more that it's all just trial and error. I've tried lots of different things. Like I said, with my freshman year, lots of highs and lows because I played heavily on emotions. I used to go into games like really intense and really fired up and would really kind of like do an intense workout for warm-ups, really.
Wow.
But now it's more like I try to stay like really calm because I feel like if I get too fired up, I'll try to make a big play or try to do something just like you said earlier, just got to keep it simple. So
right.
I tend to go with a lighter warm-up. So I'll start with just like high knees or Frankenstein's and just warm up that way. Then I'll do I have a couple tennis balls and things like that in my bag. Then I'll throw them again. I'll just kind of bounce them against the wall. Then after that, I started doing something at the start of last year, which I thought helped me out a little bit. I would take my glove and kind of put it like a frying pan, I guess. And I would toss the puck up in the air and just kind of watch it all the way down, and it would hit and land on my blocker. So I found that.
So that's a hand-eye coordination.
Yeah.
Thing.
Yeah.
It's a tracking thing and a visual kind of warm-up thing. Yeah. Okay, great.
And then I kind of just visualize myself making simple saves, just doing what I need to do. Mm-hmm. And then I kind of just try to stay as calm as possible because when I'm calm and I'm loose, I feel like I play at my best. Because if I go into a game way too stressed or, if we're going into a big game, I need to make 35 saves tonight. One of my coaches once told me that you can't make 30 saves at once. You can only make one at a time. So it's kind of how I take it and just go try to treat each one as an individual thing. Because going 1 for 1 is a lot easier. You could go 1 for 1, but you can't go 30 for 30 all at once. That's kind of my.
I like that. 1 for 1. Just go 1 for 1 at a time. I like that a lot. All right, Patty, let's go. Let's hear it, bud.
All righty. So mine's kind of unconventional. It's kind of like one
Does
of
it
those.
vary between sports?
Well, yes and no. Like I'm gonna try this for hockey this year because I kind of I don't want to say I perfected it, but I found a good routine that helped me play more consistent. So during the rugby season,
man, if it's perfect for you, it's perfect for you, man. That's great. I'm happy to hear it.
So I start, and it's gonna sound really weird, but I take a nap. I take like a nice hour nap. Get all my feelings together and just lay down, relax, make sure I'm at like the most like calm I am. And then I will get in my car, roll my windows down, and just blast music. And I don't know what about it, but it unlocks like a sixth sense that just puts me into some zone. And then once I get to the game, all right, I either chug or shotgun an energy drink. Get the blood going. My skin is tingling. Everything's like in the right place. And now this zone is like increased. So it's like 7 senses now. So you have the first one, which is like the music, is just like, all right, you're gone. The second one, I don't talk to a single person before the game. It's like, hey, how you doing? Head down, music in, like I'm an animal right now. And then this is rugby, so it might be different for hockey, but because rugby,
I love it. I'm loving this.
We have to get out there to kill people. Not actually, don't take that the wrong way. But so I'm not talking to anyone. I do like a semi-intense workout to not waste all my energy, but I want to get the blood pumping. I need it to get throughout my entire body before the game. And then right before all the boys and I hit the pitch, we just get together, we say a prayer, do our smelling salts, and then we get out there. So we are just like gassed up, juiced up, and we just hit the ground running. And I might try that for hockey season this year to see what goes on. But you know what? I think
good luck to those guys on the other team. Jesus.
So that's two very different.
That was two very different. Now I can't wait to hear what Ryan has to say for his warm-up.
I have one question for Heffright. What songs do you listen to on the way down?
Dude, I don't even know. It's either like extremely hard rock, or it's just like some rap, like high intensity, like the hi-hats and the booms and the bass is like breaking my eardrums and like blood's just coming out of my ears right as I'm stepping on the field.
You're quite the storyteller, Patty. I'll have to give
intense.
you that. I like that a lot. But
yeah,
before I need to hear Ryan's. I mean, yeah.
All right. So for me, I'm a baseball player. So for my routine before a game, usually before I get to the field, usually I'll try to like maybe hit off a tee, or maybe do that and take ground balls. Kind of just depends on the day and like what I got going for me. When I get to the field, usually I'll be listening to like maybe country music or maybe some rap. Kind of really depends. And then usually I'll arrive with the energy drink. Get there. I'll stretch. Usually I stretch for a while. Probably like 20, 25 minutes. It'll take me to like stretch, get everything going. Do that. Then I'll try to hit. Maybe I'll do like front toss, or I'll have someone throw in BP to me, and then I do that. Then I'll go throw for a little bit. Usually I go up to like 120 feet, so just past maybe like the distance between two bases. Oh my God.
Ooh.
We lost him.
Oh wow.
We lost him, but hey,
he's gone.
He's more of a technical, stick to yourself, do your stretches type guy. I like it. Okay, great. Cool, man. There you go. See how different our routines are? But hey, it works for all of us. So that's great.
Let's hear yours.
Okay, for me, so I get to the rink 3 hours before the game. And I make my own coffee. I love it. So I get to the rink with coffee. I'm not an energy drink guy like you. I get to the rink with coffee. First thing I do is check my gear and set my stuff up, whether it's my energy gels, my electrolytes, my 5, 6, 7, 8 water bottles. I need everything in its right place, just so that, and I don't have
all right. Am I back?
Yeah, Ryan, you're back, bud. But now we moved on. We moved on to my routine. So sorry, dude.
You can have your routine. It's fine. I meant to hit decline just for the record. I'm trying on my phone. Computers hasn't been working. My sister's trying to call me. It's a mess right now. But
okay, just so everybody listening, Ryan is struggling right now. He is struggling. We're gonna carry on.
I'm trying my best out here.
Okay. So where was I? I was
gear check.
Yes, I like to. I don't like to be looking for stuff, so I set it beforehand so that in between periods, if I need electrolytes, boom, they're there. If I need this, it's there. If I need my towel, it's there. So I like to set stuff up before. I take my 3 sticks, and then I go out for 20, 25 minutes in the gym. I do my bands for my ankles, my knees, my hips. I get those loosened up a little bit, very kind of like relaxed-ish. And for me personally, I'm an intense guy before the game. I don't talk much. I'm not opposed to talking. If somebody has something to say, that's fine. I'll talk. I'm not that at the point where I can't speak, but I am more of on the intense side when it comes to game time. When it's practice, different, but when it comes to game time, more on the intense side. And then once that's done, I come back to my stall. I just have some coffee and hang out a little bit since I did some warm-up stuff and stretching already. Then the meetings happen. And then once the meetings are done, I take my racquetballs, tennis balls and stuff, my jump rope, and I go to a quiet area where I could be by myself, and I close my eyes for 6, 7, 8 minutes, just like you, Colin. And it's very, very similar. I do a lot of visualization, and I'm just thinking about same kind of affirmations I want to repeat. I think about the system that I want to play. I think about how I want to feel, how I want to play. And I repeat those things over and over and in my head for 6 to 8 minutes, where there's just some breathing tactics and just kind of relaxing. And then that's where I just warm up. So I'll get up after that little quiet time and visualization, and I'll do some jump rope, some hand-eye coordination, some visual kind of activation. Then I go on, put my gear and go. And that's it for me. It's very structured. For me, it's the same every single time, but I feel like it gets me where I need to be to perform well. It's very similar to yours, Colin.
Yeah, it's kind of like a balance between myself and Heffred. I'm way more kind of open, but ours are pretty similar. And that makes sense. We both play the same positions. I feel like that visualizing is very kind of important to kind of
very important.
See yourself doing things. And
yes.
I kind of try to manifest a lot of things. But at the start of the season, I want to do this. I've set goals for myself. And I feel like seeing seeing it all the way in or something like that really kind of helps to actually get it done, get the job done when you need to get it.
100%. Well said.
Now, I know for myself, I didn't include this, but every time before games, I will, and even day before or a couple days before, I don't know if you guys do this as well, but I envision a play that I want to happen. So it's kind of on that manifesting type thing. So if I want to make a big tackle, or I want to make a good pass, or I want to get a good shot in, I will be dreaming of that and thinking of that before the game to imagine that. And I feel like that's around the same thing that you guys do, just thinking and manifesting. It's you have to do it. I feel that's what I personally think.
Well, I mean, manifesting is a word that could be described in many different ways, but just visualizing is just seeing yourself in that position, and that's been shown to be very beneficial for us, where you put yourself in a situation, you make your mind go through it, what you're feeling, or your emotions with it, how it's going to feel when you're successful. These are all things that have been proven to be real beneficial for sports. So no, I don't think we're not talking anything woo-woo here. It's all really good, positive stuff for preparation, in my opinion.
Yeah, and I feel like you said earlier, to each their own. Figure out what you must do for yourself, and you will accomplish a lot. You you can't copy anyone's certain pregame routine because you're not truly being yourself. And if you're not being yourself, like, you're never going to play to your best abilities because they're not anyone else's, they're yours.
100%.
You
And
can't be the
unlocked.
second coming of whoever. You got to be the first of you. That's one thing that I heard a while ago, and that really has stuck with me.
I like that a lot. Well said, brother.
So Ryan, are you good now? You want to finish what you were saying?
You talking about my routine? Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah. So what happened after the 120-foot throws?
No. Okay. So after that, I usually start to bring in terms of me throwing wise, and then I'll get back. I'll do like kind of like quick hands, which is like an infielding thing, where you try to get the ball out of your glove as quick as you can. I'll do that. Get back. Maybe someone hit me ground balls again. Usually game times, like, it's usually about 5 minutes till game time. Usually, then it's pretty much it. For me, I'm the type of guy that has to be talking. Usually I really do like talking to my teammates, especially pregame. Kind of helps me, just helps me get in the zone, really, for me.
Nice.
But yeah.
Good. And that's great that you talked about just that, because Patty, Colin, they talked about their routine, but they didn't talk about the questions you've asked yourself, like, hey, I'm more of a, you know what I mean? And that's something you need to know. Colin, I feel like you kind of said it, like you're more of a keep to yourself. If you have to talk, perfect, but you keep to yourself. You're a little bit intense, but also you're kind of relaxed. You're in between there. But I like, Ryan, that you just said it flat out. Like, hey, look, I'm a talkative guy. I need to be open. I need to be with people, or else you might get in your own head. I think that's good that you even asked yourself that question.
Mm-hmm. Definitely.
Zach,
Zach,
go for it. You got it.
What were you saying, Colin?
All right, I had a question. When it comes to you and with some of your defensemen, do you try to make a system, or do you just try to let them play however they would like to play?
There is definitely some talk to be able to know who's doing what out there. And as a team, you need a system to know how everybody else is going to react on the ice. If you have no way of knowing how your teammates gonna react, it's gonna show out there. And as a team, you need to be cohesive. You need to have a plan. And with defensemen, 100%, you need to have a talk with them. Hey, look, like, what do you like better? You like to come get the puck behind the net, or are you more of a fan out? I pass it to you, some type thing. Yeah. You need to have a plan there. Is it everybody's doing the same thing on the back end, or if it's a talk it out? Like, what are the communications? You need to know what to expect out there. So 100%, you need to have a plan. You need to have a system, and everybody's different. So for me, I like to talk to every D on the team, just so I get to know them as people, because it shows on the ice. Everybody's got their own little character on the ice. So for me, it's important to know my teammates so that I know how they react out there. And same the other way around.
Yeah. Yeah, I would agree with that. I mean, like, I try to I talk to each of my defensemen before the game. This is what they want to do. If they prefer playing left side or right side when they come out, or if they like you said, if they want me to stop the puck behind them and pass it to them, or if they want to just go get it, and kind of just how they want to play. But I mostly just tell them, hey, you've gotten this far and you're this good by playing your style of play. Your style is going to be best fit for you. So I think I just try to let them play their game.
Perfect. Excellent. No, I absolutely right. I like that.
Yeah, and just knowing what your players are going to do is the best thing. Now, you said something earlier, and I really want to get into this a little bit. Not too much, but I want to learn. So you said something about living, and tell me if I pronounce this wrong. Is it Sisu?
Yes, Living Sisu, yes.
So you co-founded Living Sisu. Can you describe to us, a little bit more what it is and like what kind of audience you're aiming for?
Yeah. So basically, in very broad terms, Living Sisu is a sports community. And first of all, Sisu, what it means is a Finnish word. It's from Finland. And it's a concept that represents the inner strength to go through adversity. And we talked about tough times. We talked about adversity a little earlier. But Sisu is synonymous with like relentless determination, guts, grit, tenacity, perseverance, all these things, right? All these things you need to go through adversity. And Living Sisu is a community of sports people that we came together. And our main goal is to help people go through adversity, but also make sports more accessible. Because we believe in, actually, we talked about this a lot at the beginning of the podcast, how sports is a school of life. You learn so much through sport. And a lot of it comes from hitting the wall, hitting adversity, hitting tough times. That's sport. That's life too. So that's the whole point behind Living Sisu, living your Sisu every day to go through adversity, living that inner strength. And that's the sports community. We're trying to make sports more accessible. If you guys go on our website, livingsisu.com, you can join as a member for free, and you get over 100 partners worth of sports kind of special offers, discounts. That's our way to making sports more accessible. And we're working on a platform right now that's going to be really interesting for connecting with pro athletes, your favorite pro athletes, and resources, again, to make sports more accessible to more people and for people to live a better life, healthier through sport. That's our main goal with Living Sisu there.
Wow. So is there like a target group that you're aiming for, like age range, or is it just like a broad spectrum of people?
So to be honest with you, sports, there's no age limit to sports. We don't believe in that. There's no gender sport. Like, it's not just tennis. It's not just about hockey. It's not just about golf. It's a huge sport community that no matter who you are, what sport you play, the level you're at, all these things, you're going to hit adversity. So we created that community so that the mindset stays the same, that you're living your inner Sisu, your relentless determination, your that inner strength to help you go through adversity. Because like I said, you're going to hit that wall eventually, and that's just part of it. So that's where the community comes in. You have the resources to go through it. You have financially better access to the sport, and et cetera, et cetera. So it's been quite the journey. I'm happy I started this with my buddies. And we're working on some pretty cool projects with our mobile app that's going to relaunch. We're going to relaunch a mobile app in the next month or so, and I'm excited to share with you guys. I'll be sure to get you guys on the beta version and everything like that.
Wow, that is
Awesome.
really awesome.
I'll 100% join that. Is that the same community you were referring to earlier when you were talking about the pregame routine?
You know what? That is definitely attached to it. But like I said, there's a lot of projects that we're working on in the future. If I'll send you a link, Colin, right after this for the Facebook group. If anybody's a goalie out there that wants to be part of my little goalie community, that I share a lot of stuff that happens during the year and video analysis and stuff like that, you can just join it. I'll send you guys the link. And other than that, but it is tied to Living Sisu in a way. I can tell you a little bit more about that offline after.
Awesome. I'll 100% I'll join that. I mean, that's
me as well.
Yeah, I mean, that's all the questions we got. I mean, thank you so much for joining us. I know this was a long process when I think we first messaged you back in May.
Right.
And we had that one little incident the first time with just kind of getting the call started, but
right.
Yeah, this was awesome. Thank you so much.
It's all good, fellas. I appreciate you guys bringing me on the show. It was a great talk. You guys are funny guys, and I'll see you out there somewhere in the rinks.
All right, awesome. Thank you so much. Have a good one.
See you, fellas.
Thank you so much for listening and watching to the Locker Room Podcast this week. We'll be back next week. I'll put the link to Living Sisu and all that in below, so you go check that out below. And just thank you guys so much, and we'll talk to y'all next week.
See you, fellas.
See ya.
Yep.